please. All right, thank you, Bonnie. Welcome everyone to the February 4th, 2026 Northampton Urban Forestry Commission meeting. We can start with the announcement of this meeting is being recorded. Public comment. I don't see any folks for public comment, and there's no one in the waiting room at the moment, but if someone does come in, we always try to be courteous. We review and approve the minutes of our December 17th meeting. I don't know if folks had a chance to read them, but if you haven't, please do take your time. Just let me know if you're when someone's ready to entertain a motion.
I'm done if
Okay,
I'm ready.
Me
I'm
too.
done.
I'm finished too.
okay. We entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Can we get
I'll
some?
make a motion
Okay.
to accept the minutes.
All right, we have a motion made that's been seconded to accept the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Any nays? Any abstentions? Oh, sorry, roll call. I forgot. We have to do roll call. Excuse me. My apologies. That was practice. Sorry. Bonnie, could you do roll call? I'm sorry.
Okay. Rich Personality,
Yes.
Susan Loftus,
Yes.
Jen Werner,
Yes,
David Lukens,
Yes.
Richard Parrish,
Yes.
and Kent Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have one person in the waiting room. I'm going to admit them. I don't recognize their name, but we'll see how this goes. Hello, Melissa, can you hear us? I guess we're just going to see what happens. Okay, folks. Um, Chair report, tree warden report. So I really, unfortunately, our last meeting was the 17th, so my apologies that the month of January sort of became extremely busy. The Mass Tree Wardens and Foresters Conference was during the first, during our first regularly scheduled meeting, and then the other meeting we had to cancel due to a snow event. So I appreciate your consideration in that. The only thing I really have to report is that the Mass Tree Wardens and Foresters, which I believe Rich, you were the only commissioner that was able to come by. So thank you for participating. I hope you enjoyed the one day you were there.
Oh, yeah.
But there were 475 participants, including almost between the 2 days, about 60 students from the different vocational schools, including Smith Vocational. So Smith Vocational was able to come on the first day. The majority of the students came the first day. So it was great because I got a chance to actually interact with the students and the teachers from it was Minuteman in Lexington, Essex Tech, Norfolk Aggie, and Smith Vocational School. So it was a really great event. The second day was a little thin because of the weather, because we had a freezing sort of the freezing rain event that day, but it was really well received and great speakers. Talked a lot about, which we don't think about here, but forest fires and the effect that they have. Dave Salino, who is the chief forester for DCR, and actually he's the chief forester, or the chief. He is the equivalent of the firefighter of the Forest Service for the state, I think is what his
Hmm.
title is. He was one of the speakers, and of course he mapped out and talked about the forest fires that happened in 2024 in the fall that decimated tremendous swaths, including the large parcel at Fitzgerald Lake. So that was just very interesting from a perspective that we are not typically accustomed to here. So I thought it was really well done. And I had a good time, and so did the students. So hopefully we made a few inroads with some of the students and trying to get them to come to some of the other events. So I will continue to work with Smith Folk, so which was really great. As far as other items, I don't have any items. I do have an email in my inbox from Mariah Day from the Davy Resource Group regarding the tree inventory. So I did get a few quotes for different types of inventory, traditional inventory, a smart tree inventory, combination of the two. So I need to actually reach out to her and set up a time to have a discussion with her to sort of go through those details. And hopefully I'll have some more information for you by the next meeting. Yes, Jen.
Do you have a update of where the status of our significant tree ordinance
Uh, uh,
redo?
I do not. I do not. I have to circle back up with Carolyn and the mayor. So I will do that tomorrow.
Thanks.
Yep. And Kent, I have a note here, data. So you don't have to ask me. I have a note here.
Okay, can you say what is a smart tree inventory?
Smart tree inventory is it's a three-dimensional inventory of trees. So it's sort of like using the type of Google Street View apparatus that they capture the street view. They actually do the same thing for street trees.
Hmm.
So it basically creates a 3D map of the tree height, um, crown spread, uh, species. And what it does is it actually creates a 3D conceptual or actually it's not conceptual, it really is the 3D visual of the tree. It also actually has the ability to sort of map out the defects that are visible on the trunk.
Oh,
So that is the next. Um, Unfortunately, one of the disadvantages of that, though, it's really great in an urban setting, individual like urban streets. But when you get out to like places like Ward 6 and Ward 7, it has a really difficult time capturing individual street trees because of the density. So what's beneficial about that is that the crown spread and the height of the tree, and also that imagery that goes along with it. So the way that Davy Resource Group sort of packages this, as they do partially a traditional inventory and a partial 3D um, smart tree inventory. So you still have to have some data inputs on like the DBH of the tree, but the 3D imagery, and I'll try to find a little um, like a YouTube video of what it sort of looks like, and I'll send it to you. So it's Davey actually might have a little demo that I could send to you all. But it's the next gen of tree inventories, but they're still performing tree inventories with boots on the ground, because depending upon if you're requiring a physical measurement of each tree, if you're requiring um, a risk rating, depending upon the type of risk, whether you're doing a level 1, 2, or 3 risk rating, that requires all either a level 1 risk assessment is like a drive-by assessment. Level 2 risk assessment is actually physically touching the tree, at the base of the tree, and the level 3 is obviously more technical in nature, which we didn't do. We did a level 2 the last time, but a lot of communities now are doing um, a level 2 risk assessment on trees that are 6 inches in diameter, 10 inches in diameter or greater. They're not doing them on smaller trees because the risk assessment or the risk of a smaller tree is usually it's lower, negligible. So depending upon how we want it to be packaged, and we have like 20% of our inventory is all trees within the last 10 years. So typically, their risk rating would be negligible. So my goal really is to try to get a new tree inventory done so we can have a baseline to continue to work from, because this 2016 inventory obviously is outdated. So I'll have more information for you at that next meeting.
Thanks,
Any-
though. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. And I also, I think once we determine what inventory would be best, I think it would also, we had a master plan that was put together by Davy Resource Group. If I think Jen, you're the only original commissioner, and I think we called it as a boilerplate. So it was a boilerplate inventory that was just basically had a template that they had. They put our inputs into the template, and then they gave us recommendations based on our inputs, based on their template, which said, plant 450 trees a year for 5 years, which we sort of decided we were going to do that over a 10-year period. And, it talked about ongoing tree care, maintenance, routine pruning cycles. So, that the question is that would we want something like that again? Do we feel we need that? Or would we want to put a master plan together that's a little, that is not a boilerplate type master plan, if that is something that we could do? Yes, Rich.
Is the funding for this, a simple matter, or do you need to search for it?
Once I get a dollar amount, then I need to approach the director, and then I'll have some answers after that. So, any other questions?
And are those grants through DCR community forestry still available?
No,
Yeah, I thought that's what
no.
happened, because a lot of times those were used for
They-
inventory.
They were, a matter of fact, this past fall, DCR did not have a call for any grants because of the federal funding
Yeah,
reductions.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
All right,
And also the IRA funding is also been
Right.
reduced from the Forest Service.
right.
So this would be something that we would probably have to find a funding source for.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to our next agenda item, which is the care and maintenance of existing trees. It's a continuance of the discussion from our last meeting. And Rich, if you have an update for us, that would be great. If you do.
Okay. Yeah, there are two different topics. One is pruning and the other is say, summer tree maintenance. And as for pruning, just prior to this last snow, there's been considerable effort out there with over 400 trees addressed so far this season. And now going forward, of course, we're dealing with 3 feet of snow in the tree belt, which adds a little extra challenge to things. But as able and given a little bit of warm weather, we'll get back out there. Of course, this has been a below average temperature winter so far, which doesn't make it the most hospitable thing to do. If with all the snow out there, if we were to pile branches on top of a snowbank, which is about all we could do, that works, right?
Yep. Yep. We just we usually pick them up the following day, so they won't hopefully melt into the,
Yeah.
we hope not anyways.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that will progress as conditions allow. Okay, then the tree maintenance program that I had proposed in the last meeting. A few weeks ago, I sent out an email, a blanket email, which I think everybody in this group probably received, but describing the goals and methods of that tree maintenance program, and then asking for expressions of interest for volunteers to carry out that work. And the email went to about 45 people, which is pretty much everybody that has ever planted a tree and was on one of the volunteer lists, was copied on that. And as of now, I've had about 13 replies, positive replies of people that are interested in assisting with this. And just in the email, I suggested that anybody get back to me by the end of February. So with whatever volunteer crew we have here at the end of the month, I will probably then try, looking at a city map, and I have a map, one of Kent's maps of the city and the addresses of all the trees that have been planted. And I've posted the addresses of those volunteers that are interested in helping. And we'll come up with a system to try to subdivide the city into little zones for each of those volunteers to be assigned to, with the idea that come spring, maybe during or after planting season, when people are looking to things to do, that they could then go forward with that maintenance work. And you mentioned data to Kent. Does that include the 2025 trees? Okay. Yeah, because that would be most valuable to have on this. And besides somebody having, say, a zone that they're responsible for, they could receive, say, the map, a copy of Kent's map, so that they could just drive down the street and reference where the trees are, in addition to a spreadsheet listing the specific trees in their area. So as much as I'm able, we will try to supply the volunteers with the population of trees that they can look for. Now, one of the questions we had last time was the idea of locations for dropping off weeds, picking up mulch. Of course, I guess Spring Grove Cemetery is still one option, but it would be beneficial if we had any other. Well, the Locust Street transfer station for mulch, yes, but any other locations for dropping off weeds and maybe having a mulch pile would be helpful. So, Rich or anybody else, if you have ideas of that, that would be good to get, because anything that facilitates people to be able to get back and forth to these things will make the program more successful. And if they have to drive all the way up to Spring Grove, that might limit people's interest or ability. So that's something to continue thinking about moving forward here. Of course, we've got lots of time to do that, but so that's where it stands right now. And so I think just having the group of volunteers that we've already identified, I think we can get the program going. There will be some kind of progress on it. Anything that's done towards this will be beneficial and probably would not have been done otherwise. But then something else I'll send to you, Rich, is say a checklist of tasks that could be included in this maintenance program for you to check off, yes, no, do this, don't do that. For instance, should people be, say, picking up the tree diapers for a tree that's been there for 3 years, or if the tree diaper is flattened, suggesting it's empty, how do we handle the diapers? Because they're not meant to be permanent, right? Um,
That's sorry, excuse me. That's correct. They're not meant to be permanent. 3 years and
so,
they should be taken out if they're still viable.
yeah.
I'm finding a
And
lot of
if,
them are getting weed whacked by
yeah.
and chopped by mowers, unfortunately.
And some things, perhaps that maybe your crew can do some of that also, but that would be part of this discussion I'll have with you as to, what things do we include in the maintenance program? What things will your crew take care of? Um, and just kind of a semi-related question on the young trees that have the metal straightening pole attached to them. I guess your crew goes out and does that, right? Or you? All right. And right now, you really don't have any plans, or do you have plans to follow up with those to remove them?
Yes. Yeah, we have multiples that need to be taken out. So I have a running list.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I ran into the problem the last time we waited too long that the actual root flare started to envelop and I had to take a floor jack and slowly work them
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And some of those trees, when, the, that arbor tie, the green tape around it, if the tree's grown a little bit, they get really tight. And I just wonder if it's really cinching in the bark after a while on some of those fast growing trees. So just all the more reason to keep an eye on those. Okay, so that's where the maintenance program stands as of now. Do you have any questions or discussion?
I've got a question, Rich. Thanks for putting so much energy into it. It's a great program. I'm wondering if we do a April 2026 planting at JFK, if the school couldn't be a focal point of the first year's effort, because it's close to Spring Grove, and it seems like last year some of the trees suffered from not receiving the care they needed in the 3 or 4 months after they were planted. Just a thought.
Yeah, in some places like that, perhaps having a teacher round up a group of kids that could help monitor if there's a population of trees there, but just to kind of expand the volunteer pool. But yeah, places that have a large concentration like that do need special attention.
Rich, I don't want to add like this other whole thing, but generally we have kind of kept track of ballpark hours. I know like Sue, we have an estimate of like when we're tree planting, we don't, we kind of have a ballpark X number of time per tree per person, so it might be helpful just to kind of like, I think it'd be useful to to have an accumulated number of hours that were spent. And I don't want to make this an onerous data thing, but if we kind of ballpark figured out like how much time per tree ish, and then we already know the number of trees, that'll be done, right? I mean, is that data going to be?
Yeah, I've suggested to people in the early information that they should be keeping a track of their hours.
Yeah,
And they
great.
could just have a piece of paper on their
Yeah.
desk of how many hours and maybe how many trees. So yeah, I think that data is easily captured.
Great. Okay.
And
Great.
this may, if it's successful, this will add a ton of volunteer hours to the city's tree tally. So
Right. Right. Because I know Rich uses it for Tree City
yeah.
USA, and I just think personally, I've been trying to do like a annual 1-page annual report, just so you know we can, the city. I think it would be good for them to know like how much this program is uh, offering in kind hourly work, and just as a picture of what it takes to have to plant and maintain a healthy urban canopy. I guess that's kind of where I'm after it. But again, I don't want to make it be this big data problem, but it's helpful to have those pieces, and it sounds like you already have that in the works.
Yes, Sue.
Um, we did try to count, like, have people count hours, and we tried to count hours, and we found that it was a lot easier to just, as Jen suggested, number of trees, and then have a formula and say, this much time per tree, and we've kind of figured out how much volunteer time a tree took, and we multiply, um, because people have a really hard time writing it down. The
Well, if
leaders doing a little
yeah,
bit of follow up here and there on this and that, and um, then it's like hard to keep track of. Anyway, just a thought.
well, one way or another, whether volunteers keep track of their hours or the number of trees that they've addressed, there's something
Right.
that
They
they'll
pass
they're,
along something.
they're going to need to capture and send along, but it should be, like two numbers, how many hours, how many trees this month or something. And I'm trying not, at this moment, I'll be the focal point of the reporting of it, but yeah, I'm not looking for, a mass data exercise here. So,
Right.
just a couple simple numbers from a very finite number of people should be very manageable.
Thank you.
Rich, I don't know how big your divisions are for each volunteer, but if it's big enough that making the list of trees in them is onerous, I could probably help with that. If you just
Yes,
drew out on a map what the things are, and I could probably then extract the trees from that.
yes, absolutely. That could be really helpful. And so, after you get your next data set, get with me and to in say generating a map that will really address the young trees that we're after and locations such, to fine tune that. That'd be really helpful. So
Okay.
they're just in maybe a new business item. Everybody has seen Kent's map of the addresses of trees planted. Has everybody? I don't know, David. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Kent's map.
Okay, all right. But my point is that after the 25 data is loaded, it has been suggested that we need to print out that map in a large format and have it mounted and hung in the city office by the council chambers for that everybody to see, what the volunteers have been doing for the last 10 years. So we'll think about that. I think that'd be a nice addition to the city office.
Yeah.
Rich, I just have a question. Have you given thought about the age class of the tree that you are actually wanting to um go back and revisit? So you're thinking about basing it on the age class or the year the tree was planted, Or is it just we're going to take this particular quadrant or this particular ward and just work on all the trees that were planted in that
Well,
ward?
okay, well, of course, the youngest trees are the most important. And just, right now I'm kind of just working off the assumption that that the age distribution is pretty much spread around the city, but of course, that's not actually the case. But perhaps with Kent's work, where we can really narrow down where the youngest trees are, we can maybe orchestrate the work around that. But yeah, I'm thinking trees that have been in 1, 2, 3 years, of course, are the most important to address, to be weeded and monitored. And then, as getting older, maybe less so because they're already established. Does that seem reasonable?
Yep, it
So,
does. But I think the trees that are farther beyond, we can have this discussion at some point. The 3 year mark actually would benefit from a I mean, trees just love mulch in general. So if we find that we're successful with the age class of 1 to 3 years planted in the ground, and we have time and energy, and we can make this coordinated effort of where to pick things up, where to drop things off easier, it would be great to look at trees beyond that age and class. Um, but I agree with you. Trees 1 to 3 years
right.
I mean, even the 1 year old trees, like the trees. So if say we start this in the summer, you wouldn't really have to visit the trees we planted this spring. It would be more the trees that we planted in 2025, 2024,
Right.
and 2023. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And by the way,
and
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
No,
nothing.
I just wanted to say that I did some rough calculations. I looked over the last 10 years, the volunteers, and Sue, you could probably corroborate this, but I believe the volunteers have donated over 24,000 hours of time.
I haven't added them all the
Mm.
years up, but
Yeah.
I mean, that certainly sounds good.
Yeah, if it fluctuates because, the years we planted like 450 trees, we obviously there was more volunteer hours, but on average
Yeah,
it's 2,400 24,000.
like 1,500 or no more than that. Yeah.
No, it's more because you have to add in like all the meetings, the commission
Oh,
time.
oh, right.
So you add in all those volunteer hours and then any other hours that are outside of like, nursery sourcing, meeting to talk about nursery stock and any, pruning time, everything. So it's
Yeah, and Jen's been tracking a bunch of hours that I don't know as I added in. I had you add them in last year.
okay. Well, our Tree City USA, this is off topic, I'm sorry, but the Tree City
Sorry.
USA application is at the Arbor Day Foundation waiting approval. So
Okay.
um, but I just wanted to put that out there that this, again, as I reiterate to everyone that asked me how we got 2,500 plus trees planted, and I said, well, there it is right there. That's a lot of that's multiple. That's a lot of years of my service. Just if I was one person, that's incredible, and it's in service of the canopy as Tree Northampton's motto. So thank you. But Rich, if you want to discuss the checklist and things further, just let me know. Send me an email, and I'd be happy to set up a time to talk with you about it.
Now, I'll put something in writing first for
Okay.
thought, and then yeah.
Okay. And then I mean, I have some thoughts about like central dumping area or that we could probably manage to. I have to talk to a few other departments that actually they might let us put some material on their area of responsibility potentially. So it might actually multiple places around the city.
No.
I think it would
Okay.
also be helpful too to sort of figure out where the most concentrated location that you're going to be working. So that would also be helpful too. But
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I visualizing that with one of Kent's maps, just highlighting, say, trees that are 1, 2, 3 years old will really clarify just what we're talking about here. We're not talking about 2,500 trees to be worked with, just what in the last 3 years, maybe 600 trees, something like that, just rough.
Yeah,
So,
probably
so
six,
that that's
600 plus. Yeah.
yeah, that's a finite group that
Excuse me.
should be manageable.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Rich?
And I think you're just considering doing the tree belt and right-of-way trees, is that right? Not tending to the setback trees?
Well, I'm assuming setback, they're still our responsibility.
Oh,
So
okay, I
yes,
thought I remembered hearing that you weren't gonna include the setbacks.
well, yeah, all the setbacks in the last several years are our responsibility. Some of the very earliest setbacks, what 8, 10 years ago, are no longer our responsibility. So that's a different story. But yeah, assume that the young setbacks included.
If if people, well, anyway, we have all these door hangers, the pockets, that if people wanted to kind of whatever, cover themselves or whatever, they could just, the week before, they could just put a little note in there hanging on the door just to say, we're going to be showing up next week to care for your tree, for the setbacks. I don't know if I don't know how people are feeling about just, going in somebody's front yard, but we will have vests on, and,
Vests are
that's
key.
just
I think
something to put in the pot, that we have a lot of door hangers with a pocket that, could even be like a little handwritten note, if just know that that's a possibility. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but
I think something to communicate to the volunteers is that, if it's, pretty close to the sidewalk and there's no flower beds and you have your vest on, it's probably okay. But if they, don't do anything you don't feel comfortable doing, if there's flower beds, don't step on them, I guess. And then maybe we'll think of maybe then have a few more steps of trying to communicate with the people. Usually if you email me or text me is better. I can search our Google Drive and find an email and contact the person if somebody's worried. But most of them are probably, just nobody's gone near them. I don't know. Does that sound reasonable, Jen? It's kind of
yep,
nuanced. It's not
yeah,
black and white. Like,
yeah. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out
yeah,
there that, they're,
vests are key.
mhm,
I think you
yeah,
should have the vest on.
yeah. Anytime when I'm going to get tools
Mm-hmm.
at Arcanum
Yep.
Field, I always have my vest on
I've
because
been yelled at up there. What are you
yeah, I
doing?
get
That's city
stopped, I get
property.
asked. Anything I do, I always have my vest on. It's a good thing.
Yep.
It's a little suit of armor kind of.
Like, what are you doing in that shed?
Yeah.
People are protective. That's good.
Any other
Okay,
any other questions? Okay, Rich, thank you very much. Moving on to our next agenda item, thinking of spring and tree planting, 2026. Spring of this is spring of, well, we're still in winter, but wishful thinking. So Jen and I were supposed to meet back in January to talk about tree plantings, but that didn't happen, and that's okay. So we are going to get together on, I think, the 19th. Is that what we said, to go over
Yeah,
our list, right?
it's in my phone, and I got your
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
and that'll give me a little bit of time. I just need to review uh what we had left from last year, like some spots. I'm gonna contact you, David, to connect with you, just so I have a starting point. We, we don't, we also have a neighborhood planting, but I can't really even go out and look at anything right now because there's snow everywhere. So we may have a bit of a later, well, we'll see how it pans out.
Yep. Yep. It could be very balmy in March.
Yeah, yeah,
It's happened before. The snow disappears very quickly.
right, right, right.
Could
So
we jump? Oh, sorry, Jen.
Good.
that's yeah, I just haven't even looked at anything. So
And I'm happy to have a phone or in person, like get together and look through the files with you too. If you
oh
think that's
yeah, I
helpful.
had that thought today. That would be helpful. We can offline. We'll
Okay.
make a date.
I
That'd be
did want
great.
to have everybody, Rich, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but um Barbara from Rotary really wants a date. I don't know if you already talked to other people and I'm behind the game in this, but
Oh, no,
um
I haven't talked to anyone, to be honest with you. You and I were supposed to connect on the phone and
I
it
think
just
we
ended
should
up.
look at dates.
Sure. I think it would be great. I would like to maintain our relationship with the Rotary Club and actually have them come for a day of service. So, David,
Tony.
I'm just wondering if you don't have any updates about the JFK planting from your walk with Chris Chamberlain before all the snow came.
No real updates, but
Okay.
the number of potential trees is around 22.
Okay. All right. And Tony, when you were at the school, Tony was amenable to that?
Yeah, I think Tony's pretty much going to approve anything that we propose.
Okay. All right.
So everybody knows
So,
Barbara got in touch with Rich and me.
yeah. And we'd like to respond. I think she's gone to Florida, but we'd like to respond to her. So we're trying to look at some dates for um, potential plantings or potential
I
planting.
we pushed it pretty early last year, and I personally would favor going a little bit later because it was a little dicey. You know,
Yeah.
we had to
Yeah.
move we had to move the date. It was like snowing, kind of ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's just my preference
I
because it was just
I would second that, and it seems like the JFK trees suffered from frost after being planted early in April. Potentially.
Yeah. I'm
So
trying
she
to
says
think of.
sometime this spring.
Yeah, we planted them on the 12th of last April
Wow,
12th.
that's really early.
yeah, that was a little that was stressful. I got it. I can't lie. Like, yeah, we had to move the day, stuff like that. The other thing I just thought just now is if when we choose, let's say we choose JFK, if that works out, if there are street trees in that neighborhood, I mean, we could even, if we had like a lot of people, we could even possibly do maintenance of a couple streets. You know what I mean? As an additional thing and kind of train volunteers or whatever to, I don't know if that's too much, if we stretch the leaders out too much, but I was just thinking that could be part of it. If there was some adjacent streets that we'd planted on in the last 3 years, we could maintain them. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's stretching it too much, but
Um, we'd have to, I think if we're gonna do that, we'd want to have some kind of coordination with the leaders so they know, so people aren't scraping up the roots with metal instruments causing damage. Because it might not occur to people. They're like, oh yeah, hack away, and those are little babies and they need to be babied.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
We'd need a we'd have to we might want to have a meeting and think that element through. If we're going to add an element like that, we'd need to have make sure that we had the right tools for that, then have the mulch available.
Mhm.
But I like the idea of getting across to people. It's not just plant a tree. Well,
Mhm.
it's care for trees.
Mhm. I mean, maybe we could recut the tree rings that are at JFK. I don't know what they look like. I'd have to go see them. But anyway, we
There,
don't have to go there if it seems too hard.
no, we could also, if we were planting in the back of JFK, potentially we could also spill over and plant some trees at Spring Grove Cemetery.
Hmm.
There's also that possibility. There are some locations there that I need to get planted,
Oh, that'd be
where,
great.
where trees have been taken down, and I think there's going to be a few sugar maples probably that are at the end of their,
Yeah.
at the end of their years that probably have a lot of canopy decline that I'm probably going to have to take down in the spring.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be great.
Excuse me. So there is that potential as well. So for just dates, Arbor Day is the 24th. So typically the 24th and the 25th are days that we are tabling in front of City Hall. So that would leave us with the Saturday selections of the 11th, well, the 4th, which I think is too early, the 11th, the 18th, and then if we had to do it past with the Arbor Day, it would be the 2nd.
Does anybody know if there's any holidays in there?
Patriots Day is the 20th.
What about when's the Easter this year? Like
Um,
Palm Sunday, Easter
Easter Sunday is the 5th.
of May?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, the 5th of April. I'm sorry, 5th of
oh,
April.
okay, so it's early. That's
Yeah.
that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the 18th probably would be a good, and I don't know.
Okay.
When did we do it? When did we do it last time?
We did it the 12th, which is the weekend before the 18th would be like it's the 11th of this year.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know. What do other people think?
Well, I think from my experience, Sue, correct me if I'm wrong, but last year we had to give Barbara two dates, and I can't remember if it was like a Saturday, Sunday in case we had weather issues.
It was Saturday, Sunday, and we moved to the Sunday.
Okay.
And it worked out. We had tons of volunteers, but she was worried because it was
Palm
uh,
Sunday.
Palm Sunday.
Yep.
Mhm. But
Thank
we
you,
don't
Jen.
have to, but that's early. That's earlier this
Yep.
year. So,
Mm.
Excuse me.
So we could throw out, what did we decide on April 18th?
Yeah, 18th or the 19th.
And I don't know. If anybody here knows, like, are there like vacation days or something? Like
oh,
school
school vacation. Do you know when that is, David?
vacation?
Please, you?
School vacation is going to be the week of the 20th through the 24th, I believe, because that would
Okay.
be usually it's on the Patriots Day, but I'll just double
Oh,
check.
so that's the 18th, 19th that we were looking at, butts against that.
Mm.
And 24th, 25th is the
Yeah.
Arbor Day.
Yeah, so excuse me, Sue, the April 20th through the 24th is the vacation week for the Northampton Public
Yeah.
Schools.
So that we talked about 18th, 19th. That's the beginning of that vacation week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
People get out the 17th and they might travel
I
right
mean, we could
there.
move into May. We could do the beginning of May,
The lovely month of May.
2nd and 3rd of May.
We could. The other thing is there capacity, do you think, to do it on the 25th if we had to? And also table in front of City Hall. I don't know that answer to that question.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. So hold on one second. So the 20th week is the week off.
Yes.
So as far as bagging the trees, we usually bag the trees the week before with the science students.
Okay.
So then, oh, that's gonna be tricky. Uh, hmm,
I'll just,
Well,
if,
there's the week in between, the April 27, 8, 9, 30.
right.
Oh, no, I'm
Well,
sorry.
still, I guess,
No
oh,
week
it's
in
just
between.
something for me to know. We'll have to do it the week before.
okay, I will make sure that we have them delivered for the 13th.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
I
glad
think the
we're talking
only
about this.
key thing for the Arbor Day, I mean, I took the Friday off this time around, which I couldn't really do last time. So I just started a new job. The Saturday, if we could get a commissioner to be in charge, like Molly covered last year some, if we could get somebody from the commission to be at City Hall. I mean, it's pretty easy to get volunteers to give out the trees. But then you want somebody because people come and ask questions. And even if you don't know the answer, you like somebody everybody turns to and say, and then that person says, "Yeah, I'm on the tree commission. I'll ask the tree warden," or oftentimes you can give them an educated answer. Hear me? So it's like somebody from the commission could be there.
Hmm.
Um, and again, Molly did help before. Does that answer your question, Rich, about capacity? Or I could not be at the with
I, I think best case scenarios, we try to hone in on the weekend of the 18th and the 19th.
okay,
I
button
think
up
that would,
against the
yeah,
school
against,
vacation.
yep. I think also the Northampton, the High School Environmental Club actually also would like to participate. So I've been meeting with them separately about pollinator plantings as part of the Energy and Sustainability Commission subgroup that we have. So they're interested as well. So we might have some extra. And I think, Jen, there's not all the students that participate in the bagging that are part of the environmental club come to these meetings. So I don't get to see them all, but at least you
Yeah,
may.
it's science. It's through the teachers. It's through
Oh, that's right. It's not. I'm sorry. You're right.
it's
I
two
apologize.
science teachers that I work with,
Okay.
and I can't open that file at this moment.
Okay.
I,
Okay. All right.
I could find it in my email, but
Okay.
Dan Moylan, I can't remember her name. But anyway, that's who I usually bag. I do it with like, I don't know, 4 different classes come down.
Okay.
So we would have to do it that week ahead of that. And then we can just hold them in a garage or
Yep.
something.
Okay.
Okay.
So Sue, do you want to craft an email? Would you mind crafting an email, please, to
Sure.
Barbara? Okay. And
So we
then
do need, basically, we need somebody to be in charge on that Friday and also of Arbor Day and Saturday. It could be 2 different people, but we need to have a person, like last year it was Molly, who's going to make sure, stuff gets
Yeah,
folded
I did
up and,
this that she did the Friday
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and I did the Saturday.
mm-hmm. All right. Well, we can work on that. We can think about that.
okay. And then I did send you a separate email, I don't know if it was yesterday or today about the seedling. So if folks could just email me back like to what they'd like to see. Because
Mm-hmm.
I like to place our order sooner than later.
And what's the ballpark total number we want to aim for?
We've Last year I believe we did 700.
Do we have a lot left over? Like I don't have a feel for because I'm
I
never
don't know. I don't believe so.
okay.
No, not too bad.
Okay. Okay. Great. All right.
And then I think David will have to circle back when the ground is well, the other thing too is I think there's a few trees we might have to replace in the front of the school as well. There was
There
some
definitely is.
there's some mortality.
I have
So
a list of those. I have a list
okay.
of those.
So there's also those locations. So we could be, 25 trees, 26 trees potentially.
Yeah, my 23 tree estimate was partly replacing
Oh, okay. Okay.
the unhealthy trees and just kind of reinforcing where we planted last year.
Okay.
I think it was the tulip trees. There was the root systems on those tulip trees were a little thin. I think that's why they
Yeah.
succumbed. And then there was a couple amelanchiers, but I have them on a list somewhere. I can find it.
Oh, Rich, just something to mention is there's that one uh, sort of important site right next to the picnic area, but it would require stump grinding.
Yeah, Tony was okay with putting another tree back there.
Well, remember he didn't show up, so
That's
but
that's right. Okay.
but I mean I could ask him, but I would imagine that just requires more lead time because
Yep. It's going to probably require
operation.
stump grinding, but also probably some air spading because that soil is so compacted
Mhm.
that the tree is just it's going to be just like it's in a planter or in a container. It's just not, the root systems are going to struggle. And that would require a lot of just air excavation to decompact the soil, and also obviously to let moisture in the ground. But I think we'd have to heavily mulch the whole area, not just the tree well itself, but the whole area where students would be walking, because that's I think what caused that tree probably, or helped that tree on its failed because of the compaction of the soil.
I don't remember the details, but I know you and I, when we did a walk around, Rich,
Hmm.
you and I looked at that space, and I think there was some utility concern also. I don't remember the details, but we can relook at it
Okay.
once the snow goes away.
All right.
Should I mention to Rotary the JFK and possibly nearby Spring Grove Cemetery?
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably about 5 or 6 locations inside the cemetery for tree replacement. And if we're right there, JFK, we could just open the main gate and they can drive down Spring Grove Avenue and just go in the cemetery and plant. Providing this, the only issue would be is if there would happen to be a burial at the same time near that
Oh,
location. That's the only thing. But we'd have to just sort of stage that a little differently. That's all. But because the locations for the plantings are along the main avenue, which goes when you first drive in there from North Maple Street. Any other comments from other commissioners about proposed plantings? Okay. And Jen, we don't really, there's really, I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't really have much more to report about the other spring planting locations or setbacks. And you, I have not had a conversation with Christina. I don't know if any of you have recently.
I just saw her today at the cross
Oh,
country ski place,
oh,
but we skied.
oh, fun. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no trees.
Well, she did just send an email, so you might have gotten that one. I didn't look at it yet. About was following up on some setbacks. So I will once you and I meet, Rich, or maybe even before, I can touch base with her and get the lay of the land. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Or Sue, when we meet, we can look at see if there's any sitting in the email bin from requests or something, So
yeah.
yeah, we can. Christine is on it. I think ones that didn't respond or we didn't get to or something, she followed up on. I just didn't read the email yet. So I will include that in the things that I pay attention to.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Any other business not anticipated by the chair that folks would like to discuss? Seeing none. Okay. Do we want to adjourn early?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
it's all right with me. I don't know if it's all right with the other people.
It's fine.
Okay
Our,
with
our next
me.
our next scheduled meeting, let me just go back in time here, is going to be the 18th. Is that correct, right? 4, 11, 18. Yep. So the holiday is the 16th. So I need to have the agenda published to the city, down to the city clerk's office for publication on the 13th. So if there's any other agenda items that folks would like to have on the agenda, please email me and I will make those adjustments. And I will get the agenda posted on the 13th. Any questions? All right, so could we get a motion? Could someone make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a
I move,
motion.
we adjourn.
Okay, there's
I
a motion.
second.
There's a second by Sue. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, just raise your hand. There are any nays? There are none. Any abstentions? None. The motion passes. Thank you very much.